to the Mss Francois Show, where we have candid conversations and a variety of entertainment, where we use humor to help you deal with your dysfunctional relationship. Yeah, you're welcome. Today, guess what? Our guests, of course, again, only beautiful women on my show. If you're ugly, you wouldn't be on this show, all right? So we have today Megan Bendtzen, CEO of Life Bacon, because everything tastes better with bacon. She's a motivational trainer, life coach, and author, and specializes in helping other people get back their sizzle. Okay, so you with your boring relationship, the same thing, you're making time for sex. It's pathetic. So Megan about to help you out before you go to divorce court. So say hi, Megan.
Hi. Oh my God. What an awesome introduction. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I don't like to waste time because, we have a short program. So I like to get straight into my question.
Let's go.
So one of the things I read all about you is that you study leadership, communication, and relationship. And you've been doing all of these things for over 18 years. What attracted you to such a calling?
Oh, it was kind of by accident because I actually had, as part of my job, I got to do these trainings. I sold pharmaceutical products and I wanted to separate myself. Yeah, I wanted to separate myself.
So you were selling drugs and then you
I was
selling relationship. All right, interesting.
Yeah, I was a drug dealer, but for animals, okay, animal health. And I wanted to separate myself somehow from my competition. So I started doing, training that had to do with improving their staff and leadership and communication and conflict resolution. And I lit up when I would be doing these trainings. And so I realized, okay, I got to stay in this vein somehow.
Awesome. That's a good story. That's a good background, giving drugs to animals and then you decide to help people in their relationships. Everyone gonna definitely want to hear this.
It's a natural progression.
And another thing, I know I saw your husband, Jeff, and I believe you all met around, you were around 43 when you all met and you've been married for about 4 years, right? So one of the things.
Celebrated. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, no need to show off. I ain't got a man still, but it's all right. Don't be throwing shade. But since, one of the things that you specialize in and is helping people find back the sizzle in their life. So some people might say you've been married 4 years. So obviously you're in the honeymoon stage and you already have sizzle. So what about the people 25 years later? So how are you telling people about bringing sizzle when you're still in the honeymoon stage?
Yeah, that's a very fair question. And maybe you should ask me in 20 years when we're banging our head against the wall. But it took me so long to find him that I feel like I have, I kissed a lot of frogs. I'll tell you that. I sure went through my fair share of tough relationships. And it was kind of, this is an interesting analogy, but I don't know if you'll click with this. Okay, have you ever bought a home?
Uh-huh.
You just know when it's the right one. Like you look and look and look, and I don't know. For me, it was like, I remember when I bought my first house and I'd be looking and looking, and then I'd want to go back and revisit another one. And my realtor would say, it's already gone. Someone came in today and they bought it. And I was thinking, how can you make such a quick decision? But when I found the house I wanted, I just knew. And you know what? Relationships is the exact same way. It really is. You just know.
Lord, well, just so you know, I thought I knew about 4 or 5 times already. And apparently I was wrong. So it doesn't work for everybody.
Well, I guess the point of that is I was in a lot of relationships where I tried really hard to make it work. And yes, relationships do take work, but you still know right away. Like if there's red flags, you need to pay attention to the red flags. And oftentimes I would ignore the red flags just for the sake of, oh my gosh, this person likes me. I need to try to make this work. And I would end up in relationships for far too long just because they liked me. And that's
I
where you
know
end
what
up.
you mean. I get more than red flags. I get stoned. I get shoes thrown at me, and I still like, no, no, this could work. This could work. It's just so sad that a lot of women do that, right? And it's two people
Yes.
in a relationship, and we're killing ourselves trying to make something work. Lord
I
have
call it,
mercy.
we turn to jello. We like try to mold ourselves to make the relationship work. And yeah, you
Yeah.
just get constipated if you have too much jello.
Okay, no Jello people, no eating.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the things that I just want to break up before we even get into all the sizzle questions and stuff like that, right? But you and your husband, like one thing I heard you all said is because that you all worked on yourself before you met each other. And I'll bring up that again, you met your husband around the age of 43. So my question, and a lot of people question, is you hear work on yourself, get to know yourself, but how long is that really supposed to take? Is there a time frame? Or I don't want, at the rate I'm going, I might meet him at like 65, you know?
Hey,
So
but if it's the right one, it'll be worth the wait.
okay, I still have 2 eggs left. Okay, Megan, I'm trying to hold on to these eggs. I need them to be fertilized.
I understand that one. Yeah. Well, that, gosh, you've got a lot of really good questions because I can't, it's going to be different for everybody. But, I've heard this many times when I was single and when I was dating, I was always told that the moment you stop looking is the moment that they appear. And I must say that is exactly what happened for me and Jeff. And it's so funny because even the day that our paths crossed many times before we actually fell in love.
So you
And
all knew each other? You all knew each other at some, okay, interesting. All right.
yeah, but there was nothing, like he was previously married and I was dating his boss. And I mean, it was like, there was
Wow.
nothing. We were just colleagues. We were friends and acquaintances, and we would see each other at some of the same events. But yeah, there was never anything more than that. And so when the timing was right, and we had both ironically just taken these solo trips. I had gone around the world by myself, and it was such an incredible experience. And I remember coming back from that and feeling like, I'm going to be single forever. Like, this is the freedom. Like, this is the best.
I don't need a man. I love myself.
Yes. And a month later, there he was, and the timing of it. And he had also just taken a solo trip. And so we were both just sort of in this place where we were really okay with ourselves. And when our paths crossed that night, it was New Year's Eve. And, it was like running into an old friend, and we were just hanging out with each other, and there was no pressure. It wasn't at all like a date. There was other friends there. And I remember we were both looking around for someone else to kiss at midnight, there was and I think that's what made us fall in love with each other, because we were just ourselves and there was no pressure at all. So that's kind of I would recommend, I don't know, but when you're just hanging out as friends, you're more yourself. And
you're 100, but because it's no pressure. And again, I think that's one thing we all should realize as well while we're dating. If it seems like it's so in the early stages, it's so much work and you have to try and be this fake person and it's not natural, chances are maybe that's not the person we need to be forcing ourselves to be with. See?
exactly. That's where you start turning into jello, right?
Exactly. So I just want to pause, because no, not even fully pause, but just the segment that you started with your husband, Megan and Jeff happy hour, where basically they seem to be drunk answering relationship questions, but you gotta watch it, okay? So I know the advice, I don't know, maybe you gotta be drunk to watch it. I don't know.
To get my husband talking. He doesn't like to be on camera.
I know, and one of the segments that I saw, he didn't like to be on camera, but he was talking up a storm halfway through the thing. I was like, okay.
Whiskey in his lemonade.
I was like, okay, you didn't study for 18 years, she did, but it's all right. But I like the thing you all doing that together as husband and wife. And how did that come about?
Well, when we met and fell in love, and we were just, I really feel like it was a match made in heaven. And I feel so lucky and so fortunate because I see so many other couples that are so unhappy together. And we were involved in these different classes. Like I had mentioned earlier that we were working a lot on ourselves. So we were taking a lot of self-improvement classes. And so there was this whole community of people, and they kind of put us up on a pedestal, you know, and just, they loved how much we loved each other. And so I just was thinking, gosh, you know, this is, if there's anything that we can share with other people about how we communicate, about how we get along, about how we make this work, you know, that might be interesting or valuable for people. So that's where the happy hour with Megan and Jeff came from.
So basically what she's saying, she told Jeff he doesn't have a choice, and you will do this with me, and we will look happy and drunk together on camera, and people will love us.
That's right.
Hi, Jeff. So with that said, right, I just wanted to pause. What I want to share with the viewers is one of the videos that I saw I thought was pretty insightful. It's called How to Win Arguments Every Time. Okay, I still think I'm right. So I don't know if this could help me.
I love to be right. I know.
So let's check out that video, and we'll come right back with Megan Bendtzen, CEO of Life Bacon. Bacon makes it better. All right, come on right back.
Hey guys, Megan here from Life Bacon. So I must say, I feel so lucky and so fortunate to have my husband, Jeff. I love him so much, but, and I don't really mean but, however, every couple has disagreements, right? We all have our discussions. So these are my top 3 tips on how to navigate those discussions. Because when I think back to some past relationships that I had, and some of those fights, oh my God, you know, there was so much anger, and it was all about winning that fight, you know, and just hanging on and staying mad, and just, I had to win, you know? And what I've learned is that there is no winning a fight. You have to shift your focus to winning the relationship. So what that means is these are my top 3 tips on how to win the relationship. Say what you mean without being mean. And a lot of times this is hard when you're either feeling attacked, you know, you're feeling defensive, so you're back on your heels, or maybe you're the one that's in attack mode and you're up on your toes. So when you're in either one of those positions, nothing good is going to come out of your mouth. So you've got to find neutral. And whether that means stepping away, taking some deep breaths, writing a gratitude list, whatever it is, to get your brain back to a neutral place. The second thing is to be open and honest on what is going on with you. Because sometimes it's usually not about that little thing, you know, it's not about the fact that you were texting, but really it has more to do with some, you know, maybe my insecurity about not being good enough, or, you know, whatever. You've got to dig deeper, because there's usually some fear attached when you're reacting out of anger. And the third thing is to own your mistakes, you know, and it's okay to laugh at yourself, because sometimes you might find yourself down the path of this argument. You don't even know what you're arguing about anymore, but you're just in it, and trying to stand your ground. When what would happen if you just, you know, oh my gosh, honey, this has gotten away from us. I'm so sorry. That I must be just having a really bad day. I didn't mean to take this out on you. Let's just put this behind us. You know, I mean, can you imagine if your spouse did that in the middle of an argument? So many arguments would end so much faster if someone would just take ownership. And just remember, you know, get back. What is the goal? The goal is to win the relationship, not to win the fight. So keep that in mind next time you're having a discussion. Good luck.
Hi, everyone. You all checked out that video. At the end of the day, I don't care what nobody say. I am right. Okay, once I am right, he will just figure it out. Again, he should be one to be with me. After all, I'm Mss Francois, multi-talented and super sexy. But today our guest is Megan Bendtzen, okay, CEO of Life Bacon. You better check that out, okay? It's very interesting. I actually like her, and I don't like a lot of people, okay? So Megan is a relationship and communication expert, helping couples get back the sizzle in their life. So if you're looking at your husband or your mate or whoever you're sleeping with at this point in time, and it's not exciting anymore, and you think you're heading to divorce, you definitely check out Megan Bendtzen, okay? Hi, Megan.
Hi. You know, happy life, happy wife, happy life, right? So
I know, that's what I always used to hear. But these days, men not even trying to make the wife happy. They're too busy having several mistresses. But that's not from experience, not at all. So with that said, since you're the expert in helping people to get back the sizzle in their life, I'm single. Okay, I'm single. I've been saying that for the last 3 years. I don't understand how no one is picking up on that. But anyway, tell me how I can find the sizzle when I'm being single. Because sometimes when I'm alone by myself, how much time? Come on, I'm sad. It's kind of depressing. I need someone to hold me.
You got it going on. I got to say, I mean, it's a little shocking what's happening in your life right now.
Exactly. I don't know what's wrong with these people, men.
You know what? I bet you're intimidating to a lot of guys. Really. So? Because here's the thing. I bet the kind of guy that you want to attract, you don't want like a needy pansy guy, right?
No, I need a man that know what he's talking about, know where he's going, and and like you said, not intimidated by things that I'm doing and me being loud all the time.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's a tough one, because when I was single not long ago, really, and I was an independent, career-minded, very focused woman, and I feel I still am, and that my husband allows me, or not that he has to give me permission, but we allow that space for each other, right, to both be independent and to still live our lives. And I think but to attract the kind of guy that you want, because I would attract either some very needy guys because I was too overpowering or too knowing what I want. And so you have to think about, as a single person, who am I trying to attract and what would they be attracted to? And so if you kind of think about that, I mean, my husband opens my door, he carries in all the groceries. That was not me. I'm independent. I can carry my own groceries. I can close the door, And so to allow him to do that and to be that man for me, that's the kind of man I wanted.
That's what I'm saying. Was that hard to transition from, I know what I'm doing, I got everything, leave me alone. What are you doing? I could have closed my own door.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. But you know what? I thought that meant something to me, like to be able to, I can carry my own groceries. Who gives it doesn't, let him carry the groceries, ladies.
No, it's true, because a lot of women now, we are like that, and we even do it with like a slight attitude to, like, what I could carry my, like, what, calm down.
Yeah, it's okay. He wants to be the man. Let him take care of you. It doesn't mean you can't take care of yourself, but that allows, I mean, at least for me, because I like a manly man, and so that is a very much ingrained behavior, is for men to want to take care of their woman. And so just allow him to do that and you got to step into your feminine and be a girly girl sometimes. But, I still know up here that.
I hope Jeff is not listening to this interview.
Oh, yeah, I know. I sure will watch it later. And that's the other thing. Like, we share everything. He is not intimidated at all by my past, or by, like, he could pick up my phone at any second and scroll through it. There is not one thing that I would hide from him. There is so much trust between us. And I think that is critical in a relationship. You have to be able to trust each other.
Oh, I thought you were saying you have to get two phones. So the one he swipes, the second phone. Okay, I misunderstood. You see, everyone receives things differently. So definitely we need to let a man be a man. So, and what can I keep the sizzle in my life while I'm waiting to be found by that man? So how am I keeping myself, I don't know, happy and excited?
I know. You got to stop looking. That's the thing. You got to just focus on you and what's going to make you happy and what's going to bring your sizzle. Now, your sizzle, I mean, people might be, this is a relationship show, so people might be interpreting that differently, but the sizzle, according to Life Bacon, is just, it's like your passion. It's what lights you up. It's what, you know, drives you and motivates you every day. Now, the sizzle in relationships, certainly that's the spark. Yeah. And that's, you know, the passion between you. And so being able to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
And I know you can do that. I've been watching your show and you are hilarious, but you got to be able to laugh, and you got to be able to laugh at yourself, and you got to be able to laugh at each other. And you can't be offended.
Definitely. Because sometimes we have women going around all angry about any and everything, you know?
Oh, so they take themselves so seriously and taking life so seriously. And yeah, you got to just tone it down. And, you know, that's probably the biggest thing between us, our trust for each other and our ability to laugh together and at each other.
Okay, so that would be more like keeping the sizzle in the relationship as well as keeping the sizzle when you're single, or?
I'm sorry, you asked me about being single. See, I'm not a good listener.
Jeff, good luck again.
Now you know what it's like for my husband, right? I'm all over the place. Yeah. So for you, I think just finding whatever it is that lights you up and brings out that spark in you, because when you're lit up and when you're living into your passion and what makes you happy, that's when you're going to start attracting the kind of man that you want in your life. And the man that's attracted to, you know, the lit up, passionate Mss Francois, you know, that's the kind of man you want to attract. So you really need to just be focusing on you. Okay. And I know that's so much easier said than done. I remember being single. I remember everywhere I would go, I was on the lookout. And
I know, like sometimes I think we do it subconsciously. We're just looking at, I wonder the kid gonna look like the kid. Like, and woman, our imagination doesn't go like, oh, it would be nice to go on a date. Our imagination goes on to get in the ring, the marriage, the kids. Like, we go next level. You know, we need to bring it back here. So hard.
It is. And it's just, I don't know, like for me, it happened when I took that trip by myself. And so maybe it's doing something like that. Maybe it's, you know, you don't have to go around the world, but just.
Yeah, because I know what money Megan have. Obviously, her career, Life Bacon, is doing really good. Because going around the world, okay, you all just get on a bus. All right,
hey, wait, this was long before Life Bacon. This was back when I was selling drugs.
Because I'm like, a trip around the world. I'm like, what? Yeah. I was like, I just go to Manhattan. I live in New York. Go to Manhattan, come back home. That's my trip, okay?
Yeah. Maybe take a little road trip.
Exactly.
Or just take a trip in your mind, you know? You got a very active.
You ain't got no money. You better start daydreaming, okay? But I totally get that. To definitely work on yourself, you know, be the best you, and you will attract what's necessary. I think sometimes we may be a little impatient with ourselves and with the process, and then I think that messes us up. But with that said, okay, so if I'm married for 15 plus years, and you know, they say like the first 5 is the honeymoon stage, and ever so often, then you have kids, all that enter into the scenario. How am I supposed to keep the sizzle? Am I supposed to be planning stuff and timing stuff like, okay, sex is between 5 and 5:15 on a Sunday? So how am I keeping the sizzle in a relationship that's 15, 20 years?
Well, you know, obviously I've only been with Jeff for 4 years. So my guess though is, and I'll say, I don't know about the honeymoon phase, because the first few years of marriage are tough. They're really tough. I'm not kidding. And so when people talk about this honeymoon phase, I don't know if they've ever been married or what. But
as everyone say, you know, you get married, you go to the honeymoon, and the wife is getting up in the morning to make sure he has breakfast. He's coming home to kiss her. Like, they try to do everything so wonderful. So in my mind, that's how they get all the honeymoon stage, because it's so early. We just excited and trying to be the best wife and husband we could be in the first few years.
Well.
Okay, no, not Jeff. All right. Jeff boy.
No,
Jeff,
I mean, you know, maybe it was because we were married later in life, you know? And so we're both kind of, I mean, I was certainly set in my ways. I'd been single for a long time. And then suddenly you're just, everything's different. And there's a lot of adjustments. But again, the trust and being able to laugh together. And we are both so busy. Yeah, we do have to put stuff on our schedule. So we schedule date night. We're scheduling, you know, let's take this trip together. Let's read together. We do a lot together. We love spending time together, but we do schedule a lot of it.
So one of the things to keep Sizzle in a relationship is to schedule certain events or certain things for us to do together to enjoy each other.
To make sure you do it. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I wouldn't know. I'm still single, so I still trying the other side. But and so that's what. So what other ways are there that people could continue to have the Sizzle beside like scheduling everything? Because some people might be okay with that. Like I don't have a problem with that because to me, I like things to be scheduled. But some people's like that's might seem like it's taking away the excitement out of the Sizzle because now everything is so structured.
Well, you know, and I can understand where they're coming from with that, but a lot of times what ends up happening, especially if you're a busy couple, you know, like both Jeff and I work from home and we have our own businesses. And so time just gets away. And that's the first thing to be eliminated from the schedule is the fun, right? So you have to schedule it in. You have got to schedule it. And so that's what I would recommend, you know, long-term, short-term, any relationship, you've got to take time for fun. And so another way maybe to bring Sizzle is to try new things together. Because whenever you're having new experiences or you're getting outside your comfort zone, you never know what different parts of you wake up and you're discovering new things about each other just by having new experiences together.
So with that said, I just want to take the time to thank you so much. I'm going to say Megan Bendtzen, for coming on the show, helping us, letting us get to know you and all the things that you do, telling us all about your amazing husband and how you even attracted him and the several things that we can do to get the Sizzle back when we're single or even when we're a couple 15, 20 years later on. So I'm definitely going to have you on the show 25 years from now. You better be with Jeff still because we're going to have problems. So with that, so with that said, Megan, if people want to connect with you or reach out to you, how can they find you? Social media or let the people know?
Yeah, lifebacon.com. I've got a website. It's www.lifebacon.com. All my social media links are there. There's a bunch of free content. You can see the happy hour with Megan and Jeff, free videos there. But I'm also on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube.
So Life Bacon,
blah,
right?
Blah, blah.
So if you eat meat, that's even better, right? If you don't eat meat, it doesn't matter.
Hey, vegetarians are welcome. There's bacon.
So with that said, thank you all for checking out the Mss Francois Show, where the multi-talented and sexy host definitely keeps things going, okay? Remember, Mss Francois always say exactly what she's thinking. Make sure you check me out on all social media, Mss Francois. Join me again next time for the Mss Francois Show. Bye. Say bye, Megan.
Bye.